so I would know, but it can't be on. I don't know why I did that.
Anybody need an
Most times.
You know, there's this always have an agenda. What do you have? Do you have an extra?
Anybody an extra?
I have one. Who needs one?
Make hell.
I'll take one too.
I can print
I
more.
printed mine out.
Marion's a good share.
Oh, it's.
Hey, sorry,
Oh, that's getting.
All right, welcome everybody. It is December 15th, 2025. Can believe that. And it's a call to order, and it is a opportunity for public comment in person or via email previously sent on agenda items only. Anybody who had public comment that's in the room or sent by email, we will take that now. Not seeing any of that. I would like to, in resolution for approval of the November 17th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I, Jody, make a motion to approve the meeting minutes. I second the motion.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Yay. We are now commencing the annual meeting. This is a report to the community for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, and I'm going to read it into the record. Dear neighbor, as we present this annual report for July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025, we want to start with a heartfelt gratitude. Thank you for being our neighbor, benefactor, and steadfast supporter, whether through your tax contributions, your generosity as a donor, or simply your presence each time you walk through our doors. The library genuinely belongs to you, and all we accomplish is made possible by trust and partnership of our community. This year, thousands of neighbors of all ages made the library part of their routine, borrowing books, exploring digital resources, attending programs, enjoying concerts, learning new skills, finding quiet space to work or study, or simply stopping by because the library feels like home. Each visit strengthens the sense of community that makes Putnam Valley special. We also want to recognize the essential role of our staff, who often, behind the scenes, keep everything running smoothly with dedication, creativity, and care. To our volunteers and friends of the library, thank you for offering your time, talent, and heart. And to every patron who enters, you bring this building to life. This past year saw significant progress in preserving, modernizing, and strengthening our facility. When asbestos is discovered during future renovation plans, the library responded quickly. Thanks to careful planning and community-supported funding, the asbestos has now been fully and safely removed, paving the way for much-anticipated improvements in keeping the building safe for everyone. With that important work behind us, we started the most exciting project in decades, rebuilding and transforming the community room. This space, long imagined as a true gathering place for our town, is finally becoming what Putnam Valley has dreamed of for generations. Once finished, it will function as a versatile, lively venue for meetings, programs, performances, and community events. This is just the beginning. As part of our long-term vision, we are preparing for the next big step, turning the fireplace room into Putnam Valley's second family room, warm, inviting, and built for connection. And future Fireplace Cafe will be a place where neighbors gather, conversations ignite, creativity flourishes, and our community spirit shines. Expect more updates on this project soon. All the progress was made possible through grants, bullet aid, donor support, strong stewardship of public funds, and your belief in what the library can become. We remain dedicated to honoring your trust, the clean audit, improved financial practices, expanded partnerships, and renewed focus on serving every member of our community. Looking ahead to the 25-26 and beyond, with longer evening and Sunday hours, ongoing renovations, expanded digital access, and greater collaboration with schools, seniors, nonprofits, businesses, and civics groups, we are full of hope and excitement. Together, we are creating a library that reflects Putnam Valley's values of creativity, connection, and community, a future that welcomes all neighbors. With sincere appreciation and gratitude from the Board of Trustees and the Library Director. That is the report. It is a nice flowery report, and now we move into something even more flowery, which is the financial report, which comes from Leslie. And I will share the screen for those who want to see it, but I can't make a display work here because technology. So I'll get that up. 1 second. But you can continue you can start your conversation the other side.
Okay. That's lovely.
Nice
Cards. Most of the income sources were on budget for the year. The exceptions were grants and donations. Grants and donations, it's two different things, which were about 14,000 and 11,000 higher than expected. No income sources were under budget. So this is how our funding broke down, mostly the tax money. And this is grants. And then this bigger one is donations, and the rest are, services, program income, that sort of thing. So most of our money, but there's a great deal that we're getting from grants and donations, so that's good.
Is there a percentage on it?
No. We could have, but didn't. Other income sources, in this case, this is, was a kind of runoff sort of situation where we've got the money from the COVID was ERC and PPP forgiveness money, which obviously is a one-off because it's a COVID related income source. That was $32,000. And our investment income was about $12,600 last year. So this here would be all the income sources. I don't know what happened here, but this is the funding, and then the grants, and it's still the grants and donations, but then this is the, I can't read upside down, the ERC money. So that's a one-off, so that won't happen again. That's why I separated out into two different things. So this is for the Putnam Valley Free Library income for the fiscal year. This is ordinary and other income that was higher than budgeted. So this is income that was higher. So grants, donations, ERC, and the investments. Everything else was on or above slightly. And as far as expenses go, expenses were mostly as expected with the exception of building and grounds. Big surprise. Which was $25,746 over budget due to the water pump failing, tree issues, and unexpected repairs. Advertising, publicity, and fundraising was higher than expected, but yielded much higher donations to offset that cost. We have a new insurance provider, so that expense went down. So these are our expenses. So salaries and employee expenses. The next biggest one is building and grounds. I really can't read upside down. And then materials and services and equipment and technology and program expenses. But obviously our major cost is salaries and buildings and grounds. So this was expenses that were higher or lower than budgeted. So I just did a little graph of that. So we can see that the salaries and employee expenses were lower than expected. So were the materials and services. Some were a bit higher, which this was advertising, fundraising, and contract services were lower because we're saving for the next word I'm thinking of.
Construction.
No, the contract services is the audit.
Audit. Oh.
Yeah, and then building and grounds is up, and insurance is down because Jackie found us a nice guy who doesn't charge as much. So we came quite on budget actually. The only extra money we had was money we made from donations and grants. So our total ordinary income was $591,576. Our total expenses were $598,453. Our deviation from the budget was about $6,000 over budget. Not that that mattered because we brought in more money for donations and things. Our total ordinary and other income sources was $636,000 about. Our net income was 38,000, but that was from donations and grants, which are earmarked and can't be used for running the library. That's it.
Leslie, I had a question about the expenses breakdown, and maybe Amina has the answer, I'm not sure. Does Mid Hudson ever allow a comparison library to library about expenses?
Our budget's published for all the libraries.
They are.
Yeah.
You can.
You mean
I
like,
could do it.
does this pocket of money, how does that rank against others
How they
percentage
spend.
wise?
Yeah,
Or
no,
dollar amounts?
yeah,
Or both?
both.
our income is one of the lowest in the system.
That was part of my question, you know, how do we really compare as we look towards fundraising and presenting to the community our responsibility, you know, what our plans are in terms of being responsible.
I mean, in many ways, we're the runt of the system.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, all I like to do is visit
was
some of the other
one-
libraries.
One was lower, I think maybe Carmel.
And that's because of the way they get funded too.
Well,
like-
that it's a
Endowments
tiny
make a big
library.
difference in
Yeah.
how the funding goes.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
also
if you
city
looked at,
libraries.
and when it gets to kind of when you look at comparison budget to budget, library to library, you'll see, like, Fish.
Yes,
You know,
and
their
fish.
dollar amounts are mostly based on the fact that they have that endowment,
Mm.
but their hit on the tax bill is much smaller, but it's only not even half of their entire income
Mm.
is their taxing.
And Patterson, which is similar in size and makeup, but Putnam Valley gets over $1 million for.
What's their funding from?
That's
Patterson, I think,
Taxes.
for Patterson,
Yeah,
14?
Yeah.
So we have those numbers when we do the ask.
But they're available if anybody.
Yeah,
wants
they
to
are
look at them.
there.
It's not a hidden thing, you know.
But I mean, I don't know about breaking it down. Well, I suppose you could if you went and looked every single, they hide it. It's hard to find.
It'd be a
sometimes.
good job.
But-
For our 259 last year, Joe had provided, and Leslie had worked on a lot of comparisons that helped us understand where we fit in with our other, because there's 8 county libraries and how we fit in
Right,
financially.
that was actually part of
Yeah.
that.
That's what I
one
said,
slide.
yeah, we
Yeah,
had
so
that.
we could set
But
that
it
too.
would be kind of interesting to look at the different breakdowns. I could do that.
Yeah.
Now that
I could probably help you.
yes,
Well, that would be wonderful.
why? Am I missing something?
No, I said AI. I didn't say I.
Oh.
I said Joe.
I was so surprised.
Joe always uses AI, but this seems like a perfect AI thing, right? Broke it.
You-
make
Joe-
budget,
Yes, you got
break it
those.
down, show the percentages of spent on employee
But then I
benefits.
would probably have to go and make sure that they didn't just make stuff up.
Right.
So it would take,
Could be
Just as
mistaken,
long.
as it says on
You
Facebook.
can
Could be
double check,
mistaken.
but it would be easier to do the
So
check.
the first draft, the
scratch.
first pass you can use it.
Nighttime person of the year, AI.
mm,
I'm stopping sharing the screens. I'm now just, okay. Any questions on the report for the year? If not, move on to the next part of this meeting. Is I noticed there is a clamoring of folks here at the library waiting to vote for trustees. Alas, there is no vote, and I sent a message, and the library sent a message as to why. And I want to clarify yet again, if in case anybody is watching and concerned that we are not being transparent about any of this, or that we've not put out feelers. We changed our bylaws and policies to be more aggressive in seeking out new trustees and put the process into place that's very clear about setting up a nominations committee. Then by a certain meeting, having people fill out their documents to want to petition to become a trustee, and then to adopt those folks as eligible to be voted upon in the next meeting. And then here we are in this meeting, which would be a meeting where would be the culmination of a days-long vote if we had more candidates for trustee than we have positions. As is the case this year, we have two positions that became available, only one candidate, so that there was not a need for us to run a vote. So there's no question that we're trying to not get people involved. We're trying to get people involved, and we would have had we changed our bylaws so that we would have an entire day vote here at the library and not just at our board meeting. And so we would have the entire day to vote. That's not necessarily the case for this go round since we've only had one candidate. So I just wanted to put that out there as far as how our process is, all in our bylaws. So there you have it. Any questions on any of that? All right. So now we move on to more business for the annual meeting, which is I need a resolution to confirm Elizabeth Rowas as trustee of the Putnam Valley Library for a 5-year term, starting January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2030. In accordance with the bylaws of the Putnam Valley Free Library Board of Trustees.
Fortunately, she's far from the day.
Can I get somebody to make that resolution?
I resolved that Elizabeth be a member of the board for eternity. No, it sounds right. What was the date?
2030.
2030.
30.
Wow.
Can I get a second? Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Against? Congratulations. Thank you for serving.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you. And with that note, I will also want to thank Tom for his service. This will be his last meeting. No matter how much I tried to convince him to stick around, he's decided we're not going to pay him.
You've got really
Fish to fry.
Yeah, thank you. My life is swamped.
But thank you for,
Yes,
for
thank
your,
you so
for your
much.
service so far. And I'm sure we can count on you for things.
Special assignments,
Special assignments.
special
Cookies.
projects.
Cookies.
You know, I felt really bad that I didn't
Did
have
you?
time.
Yeah, did you? 'Cause we didn't-
Oh, how can I tell you that?
I don't feel that you're feeling bad.
Put some arrows at the 8 if you want.
It's a longer day. Then with that business being done now, it's a matter of electing officers for 2026. So the way this works is you need to secure a nomination from the board to nominate somebody, and then they get asked if they're willing to serve, and if they are, then there's a second. If there's no other, then if there are other nominations for that position. If not, then we have a vote. Then we move on to the next officer. So the first item of business would be for nominations for the office of president.
I nominate Joe for the office of president.
I second that nomination.
Joe, are you willing to serve?
How are you gonna do it, Joe?
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Such a.
all in
Yeah.
favor?
Okay.
Thank you. Before he leaves.
I can change mine anytime. It's like I'm gonna move to Nebraska. I tried really hard.
Try.
Thank you.
I resolved to nominate Ginger LaFergie for Vice President of the Board of Trustees, beginning January 1st, 2026, ending December 31st, January 26th?
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
the same one year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's next year.
I second that motion.
Questions or comments? Will you serve?
Yeah, as long as you don't leave.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Ginger. Office of Treasurer nominations.
I nominate Leslie Martin for a one-year term as treasurer of the Board of Trustees for the Planet Valley Library beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st of the same year.
I second that nomination. Oh,
Nope.
you want to do that?
Questions, will you serve?
Yes.
Questions or comments?
No.
Oh, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Leslie. Nominations for the office of secretary.
I will nominate Terry Raskin for the position of secretary, beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026.
I second that motion.
Will you accept?
I shall accept.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Terry. Now this is just conversation. As for the community, understand that each year the board signs and goes through this annual process of reevaluating itself. Part of that is signing conflicts of interest, code of conduct, code of ethics, and acknowledgement that we're going to adhere to getting education requirements. So all trustees have been sent those documents, and they will be then sent back to a meeting digitally or on paper. Either way, it doesn't really matter. So that everybody is on the hook, as they would say, for any conflict of interest, code of conduct, or code of ethics issues. So that's just for the public's information that we do that now annually. Anything else you want to talk about in the annual meeting? We're just about to close it.
Been a very good year. Thanks, everybody. Good job. Mina, thank you for your report. It was terrific for 2020.
And keep in mind, we are dealing with an annual, even though I read it, this is for the year 2024 to 2025. We're 6 months out from the end of that fiscal year. That's just the way the calendar works out for us because we're on this rules cycle. But we do our performance evaluation and our annual meetings based on the calendar year. So we're a little disjointed this. Plus, it gives us enough time to make sure everything is ready, and then we move into budgeting season, which is yet to come. So we're going to close the annual meeting and commence the monthly meeting. This
Need
is
to resolve and vote.
Need to have a motion to close the annual meeting? Adjourn?
who wants to do that?
I will move to adjourn the annual meeting.
Oh.
All in favor? Aye. Yay. Okay.
Larry is closed at 7:26.
Okay. All right. Now we can commence the monthly meeting. And there are no presentations. There will be presentations coming up, but there are no presentations. Reports. Friends of the Library report.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friend.
Hello, friends. It was a somewhat last minute suggestion from Joe, which was a great suggestion. He just needs to get his suggestions earlier. Super suggestions, but it was a great idea, and I couldn't say no. And I was able to secure some help from some of our friends. During the 2-hour session, we averaged one child every 10 minutes. So 12, it's not a tremendous number, but we received very high marks from Santa, who told us that in several regards, attendance and financial, we did better than some of his other appearances. There was lots of time for some good quality Santa time. Some of the children were very young and still crying at the mere thought of looking at this man in the big red suit. And, there was not one child that, and I take no personal credit, but no child that we did not get calmed and acclimated and into a lovely photograph with Santa, in some cases their first photograph with Santa, and parents were extremely appreciative, as demonstrated by our donations box. There was no fee for this, which put out the box. One family put in $100 bill. One family put in a couple of 20s. It was very well done and very well appreciated. So it was not intended to be a fundraiser, but it did better than the last fundraiser, the shopping bag thing, which I'll report on in a moment. Although that involves no effort whatsoever on our part. That's the kind of fundraiser I like. So we have already booked both Santa and the library for a date in 2026. I believe it's December 6th from 12 to 2. So be sure to mark your calendars. You'll want to bring your children, your grandchildren, your pets, whomever, to sit on Santa's lap.
I think the pets is a really good opportunity because that's a lot of money. We'll be really happy to get
It's
their
possible.
pets with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Joe's bringing his pet in.
Some library tchotchkes like collars or something. Seriously.
Did we give out anything like candy canes or
Gave out
something?
candy canes. Some of our friends, and when I say friends, I mean members of the Friends, brought in decorations. We had, well, maybe you saw the picture on Facebook. We had a tree over here and a little Hanukkah bush over here, and it looks great in the pictures. It looked great in person, but it was a very nice setting. So Santa had come to us that day immediately from Lake Peekskill, which draws far more people, but they also have program and gifts and all sorts of things going on.
We had like 50 kids.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot.
Uh,
And they all get a gift.
Yes, yes. So this was a
So
more
we got
restful
gifts
version,
here.
lots of quality Santa child
Chill
time.
with Santa.
It was, I guess it was before that, and it definitely was before that, I met with our library director to get ready for the meeting I was having with a new Friends operating group, or as I like to call them, the FOG. We had a meeting that evening of the Santa event. So I met with the library director beforehand. I shared the things I was hoping to do with the Friends in 2026, and she shared ideas with me. And we're more or less either on the same page or on pages that sit right next to each other. So everything is good, I think. Okay. We held that first meeting of the FOG on Sunday evening. We had 7 of the 9 invited people able to attend. Both of the people who could not attend did come to say they couldn't attend, which is a little odd. One of them had been active in the Lake Peekskill program, and she was wiped out. And the other one came in to say, I would really like to be involved. I'm leaving the country next week, but I'll be back and I'll help next year, which sounds like a long time from now, but a couple of weeks from now is next year. So we hope she'll be back. But we had a group of 7 that met. We discussed first, because some of them had no involvement with the Friends, or perhaps even the library, we discussed the history of the Friends in its present iteration, its relationship with the library, discussed all the things that the Friends currently do or have recently done, discuss things that could use improvement, including some old tech issues like our website. Mary Summons is looking into new website platforms to move our website to. The website we have is functional. I created it a number of years ago. It's the best website you could imagine in 1998. So that's the software I'm still using. No one else can help with the website because they would have to have that software. They would also have to have a computer at least 5 or 7 years old.
My mother's available for that. Hers is like
An
30.
AOL account.
I have a computer that's only for running that software and QuickBooks 2004. And it just sits over on the side of my desk. So we're looking at something a little more current that multiple people can work on and will be a little more user and donor friendly. But it has been functioning. Our dinner in November, 50 people all made the reservation, almost all made their reservations through the website. So it does function, but she's looking into things to move to. Both Mary and Natalie, Natalie Arnson, who's a new member of our FOG, are looking at social media opportunities also that we can grow or expand into. We started a survey of local libraries. We took the Mid-Hudson Library list of libraries and pared it down just a bit to include Putnam, Dutchess, and we threw in a few Westchesters for good luck. So we have about 35 libraries. I created a lovely survey form, which only asked 4 or 5 key questions. Because we are now a high-tech group, Natalie immediately turned that into a Google form, so we threw away all my paper, which is good.
You mean recycle?
No, we threw it away. So our FOB will be more efficient and technical, if not environmentally friendly. We're looking at those libraries at activities that the friends are doing, activities that the libraries are doing that might be interesting things to bring here. We're looking at their websites and their social media presence. We're looking for what sort of dues structure they use. I ended up with the last 5. I let everybody take 5 off the list, and I ended up with the last 5, which were primarily up in northern Dutchess. The closest one south to us is Wappingers, that's on my list to look at. And what surprised me the most so far, there are far fewer friends groups in general than I thought there would be. Of my 5 libraries, at least 3 don't seem to have a friends group of any sort. The other 2 which did, their friends group doesn't have their own website or social media. They're just a little page, well, I should say a little page, can be as big as they want, on the library's website. I was surprised at how few of the ones I surveyed, and I'm sure some of the folks who are doing the other Putnam libraries will get a different result, but the ones that I looked at, Tivoli, Statsburg, Wappingers, Stanfordville, all the way up in northern Dutchess, except for Wappingers. They don't all have museum passes programs. I thought by now all libraries had museum. They don't, based on their website. Maybe it's a secret you only find out when you come into the library, but according to the website, they don't. So it's been interesting. And I did see a library that has a passport program, which just annoyed me.
Oh, yes, it's a different kind of library,
Right.
supposedly.
Yeah.
So they're a district and municipal library, so they're government employees.
Same thing with why there would be necessarily be friends groups in some of these because they're different type of structure.
They could still have friends.
They probably could, but they could have a foundation instead of a friends.
Well, if you're looking at a friends group solely for donations, and stop doing that. We'll do that too. So we will examine and discuss the results of that as part of our plan. I rolled out a bit of a template for 2026 of things that I would like us to do, and the group seemed fairly agreeable. As did our library director. We wanted to sponsor or conduct a quarterly program of some sort, just to keep our name out there. A seasonal program, additionally, maybe the old Ghost Stories program that we did a couple of years ago, and Santa for the holidays. We want to have programs or activities or something to note or promote or commemorate the key library events. Freedom of Information Day in March, National Libraries Week in the middle of April, Library Workers Day, which we always observe and bring some treats for the library staff, Library Card Sign-Up Month in September, Banned Books Week in October, Friends of Libraries Week, which is in the middle of October, and I've got the Santa thing on that list too, because we do have a date for it. It is December 6th. During Friends Week, I have them backwards. During Library Week in April, we'd like to have an event similar to our dinner, although not necessarily a dinner, but a large event, which will also be a bit of a fundraiser. And then in October during Friends Week, we'd like to hold what is now an annual dinner event and fundraiser. So that's 2 large events per year during Friends Week and Library Week to celebrate those things. Library Week is April 19th through the 25th. So we wanted to have that, and so far I think it's on the calendar for April 25th, which you all should note is also National Hug a Plumber Day, National Telephone Day, and the one I'm planning to attach our event to, it's World Malaria Day.
You're having your mosquitoes imported.
Yeah, the swamp of. We have some new projects that we're working on, revamping the website, which I mentioned. We probably, I'm sure Terry might agree, we probably could use another notary or two in our notaries. So I'm planning to put out a little appeal for a notary or two who might be willing to join that corps. Certainly renewing our Friends membership and hopefully recruiting more support, seeking grants for specific projects, and evaluating and taking some action regarding our museum passes program, perhaps adding a few, perhaps finding one that's not used at all and taking that out. I guess the members of the FOG enjoyed the dinner event because they said, we should do more of those. I said, no, we should. And they said, yes, we all enjoyed that. We should do more of those. So we will look into that. We don't want to dilute or take away from the importance significance of them, but they had a good time and thought the people there had a good time. We talked about Friends merchandise. In the past, we sold T-shirts and bags that said Putnam Valley Library on them, which were left over from some other previous sale. So we talked about doing something like that for the Friends. And Lance Knowles, my longest standing member of the Friends board, would like to hold a duck race.
In the plastic ducks.
In the
I hope
stream?
that's what he means.
Or throw them over the bridge, no, it's
Yeah.
upright.
Well, if we're throwing them, then I definitely hope it's the plastic. So we'll explore that. See if the Peekskill folks mind that in their water supply. We also continue with some things we regularly do. We participate in the Stop and Shop or Acme Community Gift Bag fundraiser whenever they tell us we're the nonprofit of the month. November was our last participation, and we made $93. More than the previous time, not as much as one other time. I'll take it. We participate with the summer reading kickoff and the summer reading completion party by providing ice cream and stuff, Halloween, lots of pumpkins and candy, and we'll do all that. And of course, we are ready to serve and answer the call of our library director whenever she shares needs with us that we can help with.
Thank you.
Three thoughts. One is, I don't know, I know that this coming year is the 250th anniversary and there's a lot of things happening in town. So I don't know if the Friends of the Library and the library might participate in
Are there a lot of
something.
things in town?
Sherry Howard is like a point person. They're trying to coordinate with the county around historical activities, recognizing the 250th anniversary. So maybe I think
will inquire.
That came up.
Hadn't heard about local.
Yeah.
No,
Heard about
no.
December 31st, apparently it's supposed to ring bells at midnight in your house, everybody.
What day?
December 31st.
Isn't that always
midnight.
happen?
People should do that anyway.
No, but ring bells, like, because of the, for the two. 'Cause
Really?
It's the 200. It's like a thing. It's like on Facebook. I don't know, like different towns are doing it. No, it's different towns around here.
Do you have a bell at the library? I don't think so.
Oh, it could be. It's like organizations are gonna do it.
Museum party here. Is anyone available?
No. Oh, what day is that though?
It's a Wednesday night, isn't it?
That Margie,
Um,
the knitting group is a bell ringer.
Oh, really?
Yep, they do Christmas programs. Her bell is a certain note for the,
Oh,
the bell ring, yeah.
you don't mean like somebody just pulls a rope at a church. You mean like the
You
handheld
want
bell.
me to say that? Do you know what 250 years is? It's the semi-quincentennial.
Wow, that's a big word.
Sometimes also referred to as the Sester Centennial. Pick the next one.
Or the, good luck with this one, bisesquicentennial.
Or quarter millennium.
Sounds
easy.
I like quarter millennium. That's doable and rememberable.
Well, it's 250.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there we
She's
go.
early.
So come New Year's Eve, we could set up a little party.
I was
Here,
gonna say you learned
Putnam
something.
County countywide bell ringing. Be part of
Quinn.
Putnam County-wide bell ringing event. You could
Quinn.
literally have like your Facebook page ring bells at midnight or whatever.
Interesting.
It's all different groups
And
and
you would wanna
churches.
do this because,
I know, it's Putnam County, I don't know. The co-chair is George Pataki.
there's a good anyway.
I know.
Maybe the ladies would do breakfast again with pancakes instead of a dinner, and they would find out they enjoy that as much as.
What ladies?
Or ladies and men, the friends.
The fog.
You said the fog people like the dinner so much, they
Yes.
wanted lots of them.
Well, I
So
understood that.
maybe convince them to do I think a breakfast is a good idea.
Pancakes with veg.
Into my.
I know, maybe not involve. Involve
Other than the
friends.
syrup.
It's a fine program.
It is.
It was a really pearl baking.
We'll have a call back.
I have a question about the notary services. How often do you get the call?
Fairly often, in fact, I'll be here tomorrow at 10:30 to do one. We get emails.
Couple or a
We get
few a
emails.
week.
Yeah,
And Terry's the only one who's around of the three of us who
right.
during the day.
Mm.
Except holidays and weekends.
And Terry notarized something for me when I first moved to Putnam Valley.
And that's how I roped you in.
And
Oh,
to the
really?
friend,
do that all
and
the
it's like
time.
that, bring it to the board.
They
Yes.
tell me they love the library and I said, okay.
Is that a class that can be taught here?
Notary,
Becoming a
Possibly.
notary?
Possibly.
Become a notary and you can get free
I,
people?
I used to, yeah, if we could I could renew mine. I used to be a notary. I could renew it, but it's very easy these days. It's all online and you're not mailed the card anymore. They issue, by email. Yeah. And it came to me in 2 days when I did my renewal.
Do you do the test online or you have to go someplace?
I don't do tests
No.
because I'm an attorney.
Right.
I mean, it was interesting. My daughter asked me 2 days ago, does the library offer a class? She wants to become a notary.
So it is so it's online and I mean, there's a fee for it. I mean,
I didn't actually take a class. I
I
think
took the class.
I think they had a book or something.
No, I
I
did
don't
it
know.
like
I took a class at Westchester Community.
yeah, I
College.
took it like at a
One
community
night,
college.
$50,
Yeah.
which included teachers.
That's a good idea. We'll
I
find
think you have to
someone.
go somewhere to take the exam.
I think the nearest place was Pomona when Jackie and I looked.
Really.
If you were able
California?
to offer a
If we
class,
have
you might be able to
enough-
offer the test.
Yeah, if we have enough for maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Let me.
Because if it's,
I did it at
something
some
that's
community
not-
center in Nassau County.
if
when
it's
I
not a
did-
crazy amount of time, I'm sure you get a lot of to do it when it's convenient to come here and do it. 'Cause I get emails all the time, even to the regular email address. Do you guys offer notaries? Like, yeah. I said, yeah. That's when I connect. I say, here's the email. Send it to Ken. Thank you, Michael.
We still get passport.
Yeah, we still get those requests about passports, but let's not call on that scab.
Please, thank you.
All right, director's report.
Anybody have any questions or thoughts?
Well, I read it. I thought it was great.
Thank you.
And I really like that you have updates from specific people who work in different departments. I didn't notice that before. That was a great idea. And, no comments. It's comprehensive and we did a lot. So it's awesome.
I have a question about the paving. It occurred to me that we might need to do a scope of project rebid. Because there were 4 different bids and they were 3 of the 4 were of different projects. One was just to fix asphalt and another, and so if we perhaps had the people who had the most, kind of like we did with the trees, where we said, we got the ideas from each of the 4 bids and said, okay, you 4 people, please give us a bid for this exhaustive thing, and then this next exhaustive thing, and then this, and then the final one, so that we could then compare apples to apples.
Moreover, I think we also have to include the ADA grading. Because we're gonna spend $80,000, better be ADA graded. So we have to add that, which wasn't on the original.
Yeah, I mean,
We're gonna spend that kind of money
And you're talking, right?
for the whole thing.
Well, the 4 different bids were for different,
Yeah,
some were just patches and.
I know, I
some
was
were-
just talking about the ADA grading, I didn't know that
I
that was
think the
part of that.
entire thing, it's gotta be, I think the entire thing has to be ADA graded.
We're gonna do something for right now in terms of patching up the holes and then wait to get a,
I don't think we can anymore.
We were, but it kind of wasn't gonna be guaranteed because of the plows scraping it up, which is what happened
Just
a
pull
year
it back
ago.
up again.
So it wasn't worth that much money to have something that was gonna be torn up this month.
And people are avoiding the dumpsters anyway.
Yeah.
That's where the potholes are.
I think we should have as a practice always writing a bit specific, project description when you go for bids.
Yeah.
That's a good practice. It's like, it should be in writing exactly what you want, so you are getting the same things. And
Well, keep in mind that the request goes out and they come back differently.
Yeah, no, I understand
Right,
that.
like the tree bid, I went through I walked them through the same way, explained the same thing, but everyone processes things differently, and which is,
Yeah, but they
not
would-
everyone understood. Like,
I mean,
what
I
was-
just that, I professionally was very involved in contract Board of Education, New York, which is a totally different bag. We're not the Board of Education, but you have pages of, very clearly this. So the people are responding. I don't mean that we have to write like that, but I'm just saying, one pager that has in writing, this is what we need.
I don't think it occurred to us that it was gonna be much money. We were thinking, should we get a patch? Should we not get? Now we know that it's a huge deal. We'll definitely have to put stuff in writing. But I don't see that we do this without ADA grading. Because
Even a patch of just the
well,
holes.
if we're patching holes, but then we decided we're not gonna patch holes, so. If
Because of
we're
the
gonna do
weather.
the whole thing, then it should be ADA graded, which isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it's just, where you put the lines and, it has to be, so, I don't know, I have this ADA facilities thing, you can look at it. It goes down to the nitty gritties.
Yeah, you can make the attachment. You can attach this and say it has to be ADA as per the attached document.
Cause they spell it out.
Anything else on the director's report? And now, against Leslie's wishes, we have a treasurer's report.
Slate driver. So, for the reserve fund information, we're about where we were last month. We have about 60,000 in our cash flow reserve fund. This is before we put in the money that we got, because this is as of November 30th. And we have since got the money from the town, right? And our capital reserve fund is 120,000. Our year-to-date yield on that is 3.3%, which isn't too bad. And 1 year is 3%. Our managed account fund, which is a conservative fund, but would have a higher yield because it doesn't have money market and all that in it, is our contingency reserve fund, and we have $65,000 in there, and our yield has been 10% year to date, which is good. And 1 year is 7.6. Our other reserve funds, we have $13,000 in our employee benefit accrued liability reserve fund. Trips off the tongue. So that is the Ameriprise money. If anyone has any questions? As far as our income goes, most things were as expected or on budget. We did receive funding of about 410,000. I don't even, if that was before November 30th. Did we get it before this?
Yeah, it's right before
Right
Thanksgiving.
about there, yeah. But it isn't in Ameriprise yet, so that's why it wasn't reflected there.
It's on the agenda.
Right. So over budget was grants and donations, which is good. That means we have more grants and donations than we expected. We're about $7,000 over budget for the fiscal year, and donations about 3.5 thousand. Our total income for the fiscal year is 459,000, which is about 30,000 over budget due to our grants and donations. As far as our expenses go, most things were on budget. Over budget was equipment and tech, but that's okay. It was about $1,400 for the month, but we're under budget for the fiscal year, so about $3,000 under budget for the fiscal year. So we're doing fine there. Under budget, we have program expenses. Obviously, they're under budget because we don't have a community room at this moment. Materials and services were about $1,000 under budget. I thought it was interesting that our physical books for the fiscal year and our ebooks were 50-50. So 50% physical, 50% ebooks, which is good.
Even though the ebooks are more expensive.
Yeah, they're more expensive, but usually we have our expenses for ebooks are higher. So, program expenses were also under budget. Oh, I already said that. Buildings and grounds were $16,000 under budget for the fiscal year, but don't hold your breath on that one. So total expenses for the month were about 42,000, and for the fiscal year we're about 35,000 under budget. But like I said, they're coming for us. Some expenses are over or under budget because costs such as insurance, real estate taxes, contract services, etc., are budgeted for each month but paid only in specific months.
Thank you, Rick.
Can
Thank
I
you,
ask a
Leslie.
question? In terms of the renovation of the community room, do we have all the money that we need to pay that, or are we still trying to gather more money?
Well,
Or we're pending
we
payment
have
from?
the money from the state, which we are assured will be coming, was pending, but it was supposed to be here in October, which is off-putting. I know, but we've been assured that it is in the budget and coming our way. And the rest of it we have covered, yes. But hopefully we get that money from the states.
Well, the good news, I just read that some court just determined that Trump not do all that stuff that he was gonna do.
Libraries.
The library, museums, yeah, all that funding had to increase,
No,
which was not the money for this, but it does add a
helps.
level of security.
Yeah. Because that's different
Different
state.
bucket.
Right.
All right, committee reports. Executive and finance, there's really nothing to report on that. Facilities.
I will give my blurb here. So I asked everybody to look at the ADA report. It's really boring. You don't have to read it, just look at it. It's what we are required to do for the library, but we can't afford. But as long as we have a plan in place, we're kosher. And then the other one is the facilities, I don't know what you want to call it, plan, I guess plan. Please look at it, or as they say when you get married, or forever hold your peace, because otherwise Marilyn and I will decide what everything's gonna happen in the library. So
No, you don't want that.
you know you don't want that. So please look at it for next next meeting, and then we can vote on it. And if you have changes, or I think you guys can add comments, but you know how I feel about Google.
Right.
Yes.
So try to add comments. If you can't, just let me know and I can make changes to it.
And,
Should you care?
and as you review it, keep an eye on items that become fundraising opportunities, like creating bundles of things that could be kind of investments from the community that may be interested in supporting.
Like a generator.
Like a generator, along with grants you're hoping to get for that, because that would make our library a heating and cooling center during power outages. So that's a good thing for our town. So just keep that, looking through that lens as well as just general needs. Long range planning. So we did conclude our final session. I think we did that right before the last board meeting. But in the interim, we've kind of held all that stuff. The last step now is a survey to the masses. The only holdup now is we're going to probably leave that to the new year at this point. And right now we're just checking on the translation because we're going to offer the survey in English and Spanish. So we're just making sure
I
that
did send it to somebody.
just making sure that the Spanish is on par.
And that's gonna be by email, right?
Yes, it's a Google form.
Oh.
The survey.
And will you have, besides sending it out to whoever's on the library's mailing list, I was wondering, like, do you want people to send it out to other people, like I was thinking I could send it to my mailing list, whoever.
You could always forward a survey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
to
it'll
other
be forwardable
people.
and we'll put it on social.
We could ask Mark at Tompkins Corners if they have a mailing list, they might send it out, or other groups like that that we've connected or been part of this. I mean, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people that were part of those community
I have too.
conversations. People, I was at parties and people like, oh, that was really good. Oh, I like this. So those were really, that was well done and appreciated. So there might be other groups like that that would be willing to share this survey about the library with their members, which might get you a little bit, there's probably a lot of overlap. But
So here's a question. And really, it's really a question. So sending things out email, how universal is access to? Who are we missing if we send something by email?
I think everybody has email, don't they?
I mean, we have a robust email list because it's our patron list. So we have 2,500 or whatever. So is that around that number?
Is there a particular segment of the population of Putnam Valley who don't?
Marilyn, I have a friend who doesn't have a cell phone, he doesn't have television, but he has email. So, and he would be someone I think that you're talking,
So, well,
really
I'm
off
not,
the grid, so to speak.
no, I'm not talking about income. I'm not technophones,
Oh,
but people who are
philosophically opposed to
not technophones, but people who can't afford, don't have access for those reasons.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be the case with any communication we try to do because the only other option that we can guarantee would be a mailing.
Yeah.
And that's less
that big.
likely.
I mean, the only thing that what that would then do could be a postcard that had a QR code that could send it to the website, but then you're still gonna have to either come to someplace that has a computer.
So it may not be an issue. I mean, that's what I was really asking, but if it, let's say for sake of argument, it is an issue, and there is a segment of the population who are marginalized enough. Probably a lot of them non-English speaking, we're not gonna reach. But there may be community organizations that do reach them.
Well, if their kids in school,
They have an email then.
email.
I think they have
Yeah.
email if they have a phone, and
Right.
everybody has a phone, doesn't matter how,
Even if it's a home phone.
I mean, no, I mean,
No, they're
cell
likely
phone.
to have a cell phone.
I mean, people who are very marginalized still have cell phones, so I think email's pretty
But
universal.
even if it's not email, I mean, we need to, one of the evolution for the library would be where do we get to, or when do we get to the phone as a medium? Because we're not either made either telemarketing phone calls or texting. And for some folks, even for, like you said, the lower income, they still will have access, even if they're not email, they might have access to texting, or if they don't, they might have a home phone. But your point, I get the idea of trying to get the survey to someplace that we don't typically reach.
I can ask, I appreciate what you're saying, and I can tap into some service people at the school and see if they have a suggestion. If
So it might be a community organization or a church or some sort of community leader.
in Putnam Valley, I don't know.
I don't know.
But
That's why I'm asking.
because I think it's Peekskill that has
Yeah.
more of that. But I don't know that So I don't know,
It
I
may be
think
a
that-
non-issue, but I just
but
thought,
I can tap into somebody who would have
Thank
more of an idea.
because of course, if people are really marginalized, we wouldn't necessarily know.
No,
Right.
and you do want to provide a library that
Yeah.
serves them as well.
Do you think that these a proportion of these marginalized people already come to the library?
I would think that they use a computer here.
And then there's the computer, and we can also have printed surveys sitting in ready.
Right.
That's true.
You know, who
But I
don't,
will
doesn't use email is younger people.
Yeah,
Even,
everything's
Right,
on
they're
the-
just
even
text.
my
Yeah.
kids, you know, my younger daughter in her 30s is like, well, she does use email, but she'd rather not. And
Oh,
I'm
they
guessing if
text
they're in their 20s, they're like, no way am I using email. But I don't know.
Do we find a way to do text surveys to distribute by
It's
text?
text and socials.
Yeah,
That's where we're going to be
That's the link.
evolving to.
Yeah, on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Get a link from the library.
But even if you don't have a computer, you could have email. If you're a frequenter of the library, you're using the computer, you're using it for job applications or whatever else, so they'll have an email because they're not in their home. But something definitely. So that's for the new year. We'll look at those surveys and that outreach on that, and then that gets compiled with the live meetings that we've had, and then we'll have a report to the community, and then we take it on to the next step of what do we do to address all the things that have been unearthed. Again, a lot of common themes. One of the biggest themes I've seen is connection. People who are starved for connection. I don't know if it's post-COVID or during the COVID time, but the idea of place to connect and not be isolated. You can be very isolated in here if you don't make the effort to get out there. It's easy to stay home. I had to fight my inner wanting to stay home and went to Tompkins over the weekend to the Allison show, which was a fantastic
And I
event.
did, and I was really kicking myself.
And it was, I think it's the first actual event I've been there in years. I think it was a gratitude festival the high school had done there, years and years ago was the last thing I was there. But I'm glad I got even though it was snowing when I left, I was glad that I got myself out of my
There was a
house.
big crowd there. I was surprised.
I was really good. No, I really, really want to go and then I check it out because it's.
Landscaping.
We,
Not so much lately.
the trees are partially done.
They look good.
Nominee committees, nothing on the nominee committee. We're in adjournment for a few months. Nominee committee. Board discussion, community room construction update and change order. So in your agenda, there are some change orders that were unearthed. I think we learned about them from one of them right before the last meeting was that part of the building was not being held up by anything except for the building. So like this metal rafter that's across this room was nothing connected on the other end, but it was connected to the roof joist, which essentially is supposed to be held up by the beam, but the joists were holding it up. But now there's a new pole
There was
there.
rust holding it up.
Yeah, well, okay.
Load bearing routes.
Yes. So that and a couple of other things you've seen in the agendas for change items. Luckily, none of them have been like, oh my goodness, it's going to be another $40,000 type of situation. They've all been pretty manageable. And we had the opportunity to hopefully make ourselves a lot more efficient with our heating system, our air conditioning system, because there are multiple systems fighting each other. They identified, actually, one of the change orders included removal of an additional ceiling. And there was another ceiling that I get to, and there was actually heating that was happening just in that one section above the ceiling. So we were heating this one section that was heating just like this much,
Right, nice.
Squirrels are gonna be so mad.
So yes, they are. But now Robin Air's been in, or they've done or starting or finishing their work, I guess, on kind of unifying the entire system and make it more comprehensible, and that it actually is efficient and will work throughout the room and be so much better. Which means ultimately we save money on electricity and moving forward. And I'm pleased with how they're moving along, and they're as pleasant as to be to work with. Even the that Jack is the worst. The subcontractors are, the electricians, all the workmen that have been in there have been very professional and very accommodating and helpful in recommending solutions. We learn about new things every day, but none of them seem to be like, oh no, now we can't do this. No, we have no choice. So that's that. Evaluations and continuing education is the next thing for conversation. So everybody should be getting their 2 hours of continuing education and their sexual harassment training documentation to Amina before the end of the year. So when she does file the report, we'll be able to do that. And one of the things that if you haven't signed already, will be signing is that commitment to the 2 hours plus the sexual harassment training on an annual basis. Yeah. So you acknowledge that. So you get the nanny poo poo if you don't do it. Then evaluations I sent earlier about an hour before the meeting started, 2 hours before the meeting started, the board about self-evaluations and the library director evaluations. I created a Google form instead of doing a nightmare documentation on the paper and then having to file them by paper. So those are now sent to you. Those links are sent to you, Tom. I appreciate if you would. Your input would be helpful, even though you're not any required at all to do it. So if you want to, I appreciate it.
Lame duck.
Yes. And
Now I can really lay out what I
no holds barred. And I mean, you should look at yours as a self-evaluation for you, and the one for us as evaluation or conversation with us.
Okay.
So you should do both of those. And then we should, if the calendar works right, we should be able to have the one session with us if everybody gets their documents in ASAP. No rush, but ASAP. Then we can have our one-on-one our conversation with ourselves and with Amina, and then we can have that compiled and be done with that. So as soon as I get those in, we could then set a date if we want to make it for that January 20th meeting to be before, or we do it sometime in between. We can do it whenever the calendar works for us. That's all I had for board discussion. Anything else that I'm not thinking about for that? Okay, we can move on to new business. Can I get a resolution to accept the treasurer's report, warrants, and financial transactions and reconciliation detail?
So move to adopt a resolution to accept treasury report, warrants, financial transactions, and reconciliation detail.
Thank you.
You could do them all, Tom.
I second what he said.
Any further questions on the treasury report? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. And you get a resolution to accept the director's report and include it in the official meeting minutes.
So resolved.
I second that.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C. Make a resolution to approve work change orders dated 11/21 and 11/26. Associated Robin Air order dated 12/1 and JM Security order dated 12/9 as part of the continued community room construction.
I resolve to approve the work change orders and the security order to continue the community room construction.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Can I get a resolution to authorize a transfer of $210,000 from the general fund, 1010, to cash flow reserve fund, 3510?
So moved.
I second.
Questions or comments? This is money that we came from the tax rolls, and then we're moving it to Ameriprise for our cash flow. That earns some money instead of it just sitting in our bank account. All in favor? Aye. Excellent. Old business review, revisit updates. I only have trees on here.
Always on there.
It's always on there, but it seems that we're coming to an end. It's been very, you just drive back and forth, and it's a different set of trucks that are here. You see the air conditioning truck, or you see the electrician truck, or you see the regular construction, or you see 3 trucks for the trees. They're doing lots of work. I mean, there's this side, a lot of this side's done. They've got a lot of stuff down. They have to drag through, and some of this side's already been done. With the main part that's not been done is the stuff that's right behind the building.
When you can see.
But now, well, the big tree is down, it's gone. But there's parts of the roots that are still to be managed. But they're moving along, and I don't know when they'll be back, or if the 50 degrees will make a mudslide, and it'll be fun for them to come back. But they can't deal with the snow. But so they'll be back. I think that'll be the last time we'll have a tree update until we have our annual tree update, because we'll have to do something annually.
Unless something untoward happens.
Yeah, well, we don't want to wish that.
We don't want to work that.
Do we? Public comment in person or via email on any items. Yeah. Board member comment on any items or future board meeting topic. Well, I want to thank you all for the year of service, including your year of service with us, Michael. Appreciate your constant support. So I wanted to thank everybody here for making our library move forward, and looking forward to what's next. It's the end of the calendar year, that's at the end of our fiscal year, and now we move into evaluation, then we move into budgets, and we move into all that other fun stuff. It's never gonna end. 2030.
Teresa is bad. If it ends, that means it's in the library. We don't want that.
And thank you to all of our executive board.
Yes.
Thank you for serving.
And again, thanks, Tom, for your years.
And,
So,
The lack of cooking.
Despite the lack of cookies, I like you. Did you have cookies at Tompkins?
Yes,
See, that's where you do love it. Let's see.
I had those, I actually had those apple cider whoopie pies and, ricotta, cranberry cake.
Well, now you're just rubbing it in our face.
Oh, gone, I don't have it, I actually have like 3 or 4 whoopie pies to, but I was like, I can't bring 3 or 4 whoopie pies to,
Like,
I just didn't have time for this. Scratch.
That's okay.
No worries.
I'll bring some, I'll come and bring some.
Just make sure I'm in that day.
Our next meeting is January 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. It is a Tuesday. Remember it, it's a Tuesday. It's the 20th.
Because we had Dr. King's birthday.
26.
2026. 20th,
Okay.
2026.
26. Say that 4 times.
How many people are in our meeting at this time?
1, 2, 3.
You stuck it out?
Terry. Yeah. It's
Karen was in most of it.
that's a Tuesday. It's my birthday, but I'll be here anyway.
Oh, so we should bring like, what kind of cake do you want?
I don't want cake.
Are you sure?
Charles, yeah, what kind
He needs a
What
cake.
kind of- what kind
Yeah.
For his birthday?
If there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Aw,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Alright.
Aye. Everybody, happy holidays. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
Sure, yeah, I saw you better about your, the letter, so easy to.